Okay, so let's go to the Joe Biden Super Bowl interview. I'm perhaps the best expert in the world on these things because I've done 3 of them. Nobody else has done more than that. 2 of them were live. The Biden interview was taped on Thursday, last Thursday, and run on Sunday. Norah O'Donnell, CBS, was the interviewer. Okay, so there were some interesting parts of that interview. More interesting than most. But Ms. O'Donnell missed a few openings that surprised me because they weren't complicated. So let's start with the COVID thing, because this was the big theme of the interview. Go.
One of the disappointments was, when we came into office, is the circumstance relating to how the administration was handling COVID was even more dire than we thought.
The Trump administration.
The Trump administration. We thought they indicated there was a lot more vaccine available, and it didn't turn out to be the case.
Okay, so that's not really fair, because the Trump administration did get the vaccine produced in record time and saved millions of lives in the process. Now, the rollout of the vaccine is a complicated issue because it goes from a private company to the states, and where the federal government fits into that mosaic is undefined. There is no doubt that after the election, Donald Trump disengaged from a daily oversight of most everything, and that's too bad, but that's the truth. Donald Trump was so crazed because he thought the election was stolen from him that a lot of things that he would have looked at, he didn't. And he was concentrating on overturning the vote. That's the truth. Again, I mean, it's not a matter of speculation, it's not a guess, it's absolutely what happened. So there's a point that maybe had President Trump engaged on the vaccine more, that it would have rolled out better. But that's just a guess, an opinion. Because again, you go from a private company, 2 of them, Moderna and Pfizer, into the state apparatus. Now, some states have been pretty calm, pretty smooth. When I was down in Florida a couple of weeks ago, very organized. My state, New York, absolutely chaos. And there are more people in Florida, so no excuse. So anyway, if I had been Norah O'Donnell, I would have said, can you explain, Mr. President, what exactly the holdup is? I guarantee you 100% that Joe Biden could not explain that. And that is a very simple question. But instead, Norah O'Donnell allows Biden to take a shot at Trump, but there's no clarity. Well, what happened? Nothing. Zero. And this is standard procedure at Network News. You don't get anything. You don't learn anything. All right, second soundbite. It's basically a guess soundbite. Roll a tape.
You're President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief. Can you do something in terms of going to Moderna, going to Pfizer, saying we need more production?
Yes, I think, because we've already done it. But the idea that this can be done and we can get to herd immunity much before the end of this summer is very difficult.
Why? Why? You see, look, it's the same thing. You know, you're going around in circles. But he's not giving you or me or anybody the why of all this. I mean, what is the problem? It drives me crazy, and I'm not being arrogant or supercilious. I know that I have more experience than Norah O'Donnell and probably anybody else in the business. But this is fundamental interviewing skill. You are trying to get information to the people who are watching you. Not let Joe Biden or Donald Trump or Barack Obama say anything they want to say. Tell me what the problem is. Not that it's Trump's fault. What is it? Didn't get it. And it wasn't even close. Our third soundbite is about the kids who are getting hammered because of COVID. Go.
Do you think it's time for schools to reopen?
I think it's time for schools to reopen safely safely. You have to have fewer people in the classroom. You have to have ventilation systems that have been reworked. Our CDC commissioner is going to be coming out with science-based judgment within, I think, as early as Wednesday, as to lay out what the minimum requirements
Put your
are.
Benadryl and your Ambien over
Okay.
here, and then your other
Safely.
2 pills over here.
Safely.
Okay.
I'll get over it
All right,
safely.
so it's all there.
All Ms. O'Donnell had to do was going, but Catholic schools all over the country are open and have been open
Well,
since
yeah.
September. And there hasn't been any disaster. Isn't that safe? What's the difference between a Catholic school and the public school? This is like fundamental journalism that is no longer practiced in this country. This isn't brilliance. You got to anticipate what Biden's going to say. Oh, yeah, I want to open them, but safely. Yeah, all right. But we already have a parallel track where there are thousands of schools open, private and Catholic, and there hasn't been a problem. So what's holding you up in ordering the nation's public schools to open? What is the whole? We need ventilation. Do the Catholic schools not have the ventilation? I don't know whether you get as agitated as I get, because this is the highest level. This is the anchor person of CBS News. Doesn't get any higher than that over there. And this is just, I'm going to sit there going, it's not a matter of harpooning Biden. It's how much does the man know? How much does he know? He's the president. Now, if you go to BillO'Reilly.com and because we have the montage up, 2 Obama interviews, 1 Trump interview, you see me challenge them on what they say. Nora O'Donnell didn't challenge Joe Biden once. Now, was there a deal made? I don't think so. I don't think that happened. I know a lot of you think, oh, he had the questions in advance. Nah, I don't think so. But I believe that there was probably a tacit understanding we're not going to push the man. Oh, it drives me crazy. It really, because this is so important. The children's school thing is so important. I want to reopen safely. Yeah, all right, you got a template, Mr. President, right in front of your nose. You're a Catholic. You go to church every Sunday. Attached to many of the churches are Catholic schools that have been open since September. Isn't that safely? Oh. Follies, it starts tomorrow. Joe Biden could have put an end to this and said, I'm going to tell my party members in the House and Senate to stand down. We don't need this kind of an exposition. You may not like Donald Trump, but we're not going to go through this because it damages the country. But instead, Joe Biden plays Pontius Pilate. Roll the tape.
Let's turn to the impeachment trial. President Trump's impeachment trial. If you were still a senator, would you vote to convict him?
Look, I ran like hell to defeat him because I thought he was unfit to be president. I've watched what everybody else watched. What happened when that crew invaded the United States Congress. But I'm not in the Senate now. I'll let the Senate make that decision.
Well, let me ask you then something that you do have oversight of as president. Should former President Trump still receive intelligence briefings?
I think not,
Why not?
because of his erratic behavior unrelated to the insurrection.
I mean, you've called him an existential threat. You've called him dangerous. You've called him reckless.
Yeah, I have, and I believe it.
All right, well, so that pretty much puts the final nail in the cliched coffin for any kind of détente between Joe Biden and the Republican Party, the 72 million people who voted for Trump. It's never going to happen. Biden doesn't want it to happen. Biden wants to play to his progressive crew. He'd love to see Donald Trump humiliated in any possible way, because Trump could come back if the economy collapses. That's the only way Trump could come back if the economy collapses, but he's still there. Now, the impeachment trial, as you know, begins tomorrow, 10 a.m. Today, Monday, the Trump lawyers filed a 78-page brief saying this is a bunch of garbage, it's unconstitutional, the president didn't do anything to be impeached. There will be a formal debate beginning tomorrow around noon, 16 hours. In the first debate a year ago, it was 24 hours of debate. Now it's 16, they're cutting it back. The key is that Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John Roberts, refused to preside because he knows it's unconstitutional. The whole thing is a sham. It's a political display, and to his credit, John Roberts doesn't want to be part of that. He doesn't want to be used. He doesn't want the Supreme Court to be used. As you know, 45 Republican senators voted that it was unconstitutional, so there's no way on earth that Donald Trump's going to be convicted unless in the next 24 hours there's some kind of smoking gun. But there has been a smoking gun, and nobody reported it because the media is corrupt. And that is that the Justice Department, the FBI, believes that far-right militia people, including some Proud Boys, planned the break-in to the Capitol. Planned it well ahead of time. So that blows out of the water that Donald Trump's speech or his embrace of the protest, which he did say should be peaceful, he said that was his own words, that blows that out of the water that he caused it. If this was in motion for a month, as the FBI believes it was, okay, then Trump, on the day of, had no effect at all, right? Okay. So there are 9 impeachment managers from the House. 6 of them are radical leftists. 3 of them I don't know. Plaskett from the Virgin Islands, Madeline Dean from Pennsylvania, Joe Neguse from Colorado. I don't know who they are. But the others are radical leftists. They're going to trash Trump. That's what this is all about. Trash him, trash him, trash him. Then some Republicans will stick up for him. I'll cover it for you tomorrow, but I got to tell you, this is a total waste of time. It is a total embarrassment. The first one was an embarrassment. Nobody even remembers what that was all about. And now we have the second one. If I were Trump, I'd print up T-shirts that say something like, "Want to try again?" You know, with a little gavel. Or I mean, it's just so damaging, so unnecessary. But maybe I'm wrong. Knocked out the churches completely are Kagan, Breyer, and Sotomayor. These are the liberal activists on the court. So you know, there are 3 liberal activists. The 3 conservative, I'm not sure whether I call them activists, but they're firm conservative. Thomas, Gorsuch, and Alito all wanted to let the churches do whatever they want. And the middle 3, Roberts, Kavanaugh, and Coney Barrett, they said, you got to open the churches, but we'll uphold you can't sing. Interesting ruling. All right, in California, now the governor, Gavin Newsom, is going to be on the ballot, and we're trying to figure out when. The best estimate we get is between mid-August and late September. They're going to have a vote in California to remove Newsom from office. That's going to happen. They only need less than 1 million signatures by St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. It's going to happen. There are already a bunch of people wanting to be governor of California. I don't know why anybody would want that job. It's very impossible. But that's the situation there.